And Gordon, please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Paul Cuny,
Present.
Al Davis,
Here.
Charlie Q,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Here.
Brent Peavy,
Here.
Gerald Shannon here, Dave Torgerson.
Here. We'll vote. Okay, we have the agenda for us. Anything you want to take out, talk about? Any changes? Okay, so this agenda will stay as approved. Go to the consent agenda. Anything to take out to discuss?
Motion that we accept the consent agenda as printed.
Motion made by Keel to accept the consent agenda as printed. Seconded by CUNY. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Want to thank Tim and Jessica and everybody that worked on this final draft of our ordinance. There's a lot of time and effort in that and a lot of things, but I think we finally got it knocked into shape. So appreciation for everybody's effort on that. I don't have anything else, Mr. Manager.
Just a few quick items here. We ended up with $8,830 as our fundraising for this year's fireworks. It's a little bit below last year and just a little bit below what we were hoping for, but it was still right around that 50% mark that we try to shoot for. We did run into an issue with MMR, who called us the morning of the event to let us know that they would not be able to provide an ambulance for the evening. So we had to move forward without them because of their staffing issues. They did not have personnel available to dedicate to us. We do have a slight scheduling issue to sort through for 2024. The village has always tried to go for the Saturday that is the nearest to the 4th of July. July 4th in 2024 will be on a Thursday. Waveman Days is always the Saturday after the 4th of July. So if we were to follow the Saturday format, we would be in conflict with Waveman Days, which is a problem because we use the same fireworks crew and the same fire department to chaperone the evening's activities. I think the two options that make the most sense would be either Friday, July 5th, if that is agreeable to both the fireworks crew and the fire department, or the Saturday prior, which is, I think, less desiresome. With it being on a Thursday, I think Friday is still somewhat appropriate in that a fair number of places will not have people go to work on Friday. That would give it off for Thursday the 4th. You know, our handbook here says if it's on a Tuesday, you get the Monday. If it's on a Thursday, you also get the Friday. So, you know, we bookend it that way. But definitely would like to know your guys' feelings on June, what is it, 29th, I think, maybe, or July 5th as the two dates.
I look at it, whatever you can work out with them is good. You work out with those guys and whatever it is, it's good. Because we can tell you, yes, we want this date, but then they can't do it. So you always look out for our best interests, so.
So the problem is for the 29th is not everyone would plan to be here necessarily that weekend if they're coming the following.
Yeah, I mean, let's see,
so-
bring it up here.
Yeah, but we let them know ahead of
Yeah,
time that
29.
fireworks are in, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe put it out in our next newsletter, that it's, you know, sorry, this is the way it is, but these are the dates.
But I think Friday the fifth, because Thursday, I agree, there's gonna be an awful lot of people have the time off.
Or
They
take
get
it
up
off,
here,
yeah.
it doesn't happen until 10 o'clock at night, so
Yeah.
people traveling still are gonna be here.
Yeah.
And it's not the first week that they're at their cottage. I think, yeah, the fifth is a nice one if we can get cooperation.
Yeah, probably that's a preference, but like Paul said, whatever you can get.
Yeah.
Whatever we can hammer out.
I think Jim wants it on the fifth, but,
Yeah.
you know, he doesn't know if he can get it. So that's why I say leave it up to him.
I don't have a preference, so I'll go with them as well.
Okay,
Most of the dogs, you would prefer to cancel.
Yeah.
true.
They'll just eat fudge.
The Census Bureau has accepted our challenge. They've let us know that it could take up to 3 months for them to review what we've sent, challenging the results of the 2020 census for the village. But I think at the end of the day, you know, there was a cutoff that you had to report of April 1st, 2020. So they had to be finished housing units on that date. How many of those would be occupied? By our count today, we have like 1,009 either constructed or approved and in the process of being built. 38 of those were after that April 1st date. So our official number that we submitted was somewhere in the 980 range of official housing units, 960 range, I'm sorry. With about 85% occupied is what we estimated. They had us about 81%. So hopefully that'll, you know, work in our favor. If not, the next step would be to consider doing a full-on recount, which would be something that we would have to put the bill for. But you would be able to bring in all of those new housing units as well, because you would be doing the recount in 2024. So it'd be whatever the population in 2024, not 2020. So
And they would take that number then?
they would have to take that number, yep. I mean, the recount during the middle of a census period is not common, and it's only done in places where they've seen significant population change or growth. Because like in our case, getting over 2,000 is a trigger for additional funding from the state, particularly for our streets, extra 10%. So you're talking, you know, $300,000 over the life of a decade, that 10% number plays out to be.
Well, and they ballparked us the first time.
No, it was,
I mean, they didn't, well, it was COVID. They didn't do a lot of things.
you know, I got my postcard at my house, you know, the end of March and said, you know, fill it out for where you are right now. It's like, no, don't fill it out for where you are right now. Fill it out for where you live most of the year. So
Right, where you're permanent resident.
all of our people that were not here, that were in Florida or wherever else, if they read it at face value, but oh yeah, we'll fill it out right here and we're in, you know, wherever.
What's the cost to do our own?
That I cannot tell you, but I would think is probably would be north of 10,000.
Okay, and the advantage monetarily, if our numbers improve, would be more than 10,000.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
And even on the general fund side where, you know, the most important factor in terms of population for our dollars in general fund is our revenue sharing from the state. So if you think of on a per capita basis, essentially, if we're getting $98 a resident ballpark from the state, you know, you add in another couple hundred right there, you know, because our official number was 1861, I want to say, or 1829. 1829 was our official census number. So, you know, you're
Good investment.
$170 short.
That
Yeah.
doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't mathematically
Yeah.
make sense.
Would it
People per
backdate
house.
to 2020?
No, if you do a recount, it's what it's when you do the recount.
So it's only gonna be from 24 to 30.
Correct.
Yeah, we wouldn't get.
You wouldn't get the full back, but what's
Well,
the
we can-
trade-off of bringing in 40 new housing units as
Yeah.
well?
Right.
You know, and how many of those are occupied year round rather than seasonal? You know, the 15% number I am comfortable with as seasonal. 20% I think is unrealistic, but. You know,
I mean, should be going for
So the timing is such that if we wait for the 3 months and we don't like what they say, we have that.
then I have to come back and tell you what we have to do next.
Okay. All right.
Further down that road. Our new code enforcement officer has been working quite a bit. We're up to 100 and, well, as of last week, 165 violations for the year. This is, up considerably in any previous year where it was just me doing it by ourselves. We're coming in at 220 for the entire year. So 43 blight junk items, 37 long grass, 21 unlicensed vehicles. We've issued 19 civil infractions to date. We've handled 129 cases. 13% have been reactive, as in we're responding to complaints. The other 87% of cases have been proactive enforcement. The vehicle right now is at Procom, having the lights done to it finally. They finally came in. Permit wise, we've been, still somewhat busy, surprisingly, not a lot of big projects. We got a shed, a small addition. We've got a couple of houses on Fairway and Coldwater Clubhouse that are going in on this side of the lake. We approved a large detached garage at planning commission for Southport down by Minnie, on my side of the lake. We've got a couple of other people that are looking at trying to build. One is running into some issues in terms of the size of their property in the house that they want to build, and then having enough space for a septic system. Along those lines, one of the things that we had in our budget, that we did at the end of the last fiscal year, was we had the right of way marked on Channel Drive West. So Channel Drive West is obviously off of Channel Drive, and it was an area that had not had any development activity at all ever up until we got the restrictions amended and lifted in that part of the village. There's one house that's out there right now, and there's interest in at least 2 of the other properties to be developed. We have shrunk our zoning setback to the absolute minimum that we can, which is 15 feet off the front right of way line, because there is a 15-foot public utility easement along the front of all of those lots. But the survey markings that we had done, we got to go back out and actually measure from those marks to the water's edge. But I think we should maybe be thinking about, is there any way that we could vacate some of that right away and shrink that utility easement in, if we can get consumer CTE and Homeworks to agree to it, because I mean, it is unbelievably challenging on some of those lots. I mean, they just might simply not be buildable based on size alone. But if you have a chance, go take a look down there and you'll see firsthand yourself what I'm talking about. But we had one of the realtors come in shortly thereafter and ask about it. I said, that's us having the right of way stakes. We can see where it's at. So if we want to put gravel down or try and, because it's a 2-track right now, improve it in any way, like, well, if it's a stake out in the middle of the lot, it's like, no, they didn't. That's not where your lot is in the middle. That's where your lot starts.
Mhm.
So it's like 108 feet from there to the water. And then last but not least, we've been actively engaged with getting material out for the election next month. Newsletter went out last week. There was material at the LIPOA picnic. There are 2 meetings tomorrow. There are 2 meetings next Thursday. We've got another newsletter planned, another mailing planned on top of that. And I'm also thinking about the week right before the election, doing one other like a virtual community meeting, so anyone that said, hey, I can't come, I work, those type of things. That can be a little bit more flexible, that can be even a little bit later, like an 8 o'clock start time, because if it's, virtual, would be, me and another 1 or 2 people from the committee that could respond to questions as they come in online, but so far, we've had very positive feedback on the material that we sent out. We put some signs out just to remind people to vote on August 8th. So we've got, I think, 4 or 5 of those signs left that we can put out if we have high traffic areas where we can get them. So that is what I've got for you folks.
Many questions?
I have a question. I just have a thank you for all you've done and for that committee, all they did.
They've done a
They
good
have
job.
done a great job.
See you there. Okay. Sherman Township report. Jeff, that'd be you.
Just a couple of quick things. We still have not heard back from Lansing with our violation letter information. Apparently they lost an engineer who transferred from that department to another one, so they have to replace that engineer. So the whole lot of just waiting at this point. The board did take a proactive step, and we hired a company called Pure Plumbing, had them come in and inspect all of the drains that are in the basement. And including with the inspection with the cameras, they were also blowing out some of the drains and stuff like that. Every single drain they worked on was either completely plugged up with sand. Some of them had roots in them. One, they would suspect that the drains themselves are actually broken. So that's making us question at this point, where's this E. coli stuff coming from? Because if the rain itself isn't making it through the drains, the E. coli is not coming from there either. Because they can't even get to the places where they measured it. So we're still waiting for a report. We're gonna get a video report from them and an actual written report with everything they found on all that information. And then we'll use that when we eventually hear from Lansing to see if we can help alleviate some of that stuff. And the local drain commissioner says he doesn't have any responsibilities to maintain and take care of that because he doesn't have the money. So I believe, I'm speaking for myself as of right now, but I believe the board would back me up and say that we're not gonna buy into that, but this is almost a $7,000 investment that we did just for the inspection part of it now. So, the drain being 100 years old, I can't blame this particular drain commissioner. He's the one that's in serving right now. And as far as I'm concerned, if he's gonna tell us what we can and can't do with those drains, he should be the one maintaining them as well. So we'll see what happens with that. So the other thing is Denise and I attended a cemetery conference last month here in Mount Pleasant. It had a ton of good information, and we are going to bring up our cemetery ordinance for the township and go over that again. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be updated with a lot of that. I know we've talked about cemetery here for the village before in the past. Probably, I have no problem giving any of the information I got from that cemetery to Tim to review with that, but there are such things as it is legal for people to be able to bury their own people in their own yards, in their own property. Might be something worth looking into, a cemetery ordinance for us, for how we can handle that, because you can't legally stop it. So they legally, by the state of Michigan, can bury people in their own property. They have to go through some paperwork and some other stuff with it. So it might be something worth looking into either at the planning commission level, or at least start with Tim and then go from there. But I know we're gonna see with it at the township level as well. And that's all I have for right now.
All right, thank you.
Jeff, can I ask Jeff a question? Sure. Are you saying that I could have myself buried on my property, my little lot? I didn't realize that was legal.
There's a lot involved with it, in the sense you have to set up a conservancy. You can't be any more than 1 acre in total size. And then there's some paperwork that you have to sign that gets registered with the county and the state. But after that, yes, you can.
Oh, I would think you'd have to have at least an acre, not no more than.
No, it can't be more than an acre, and part of the reason they do that is because that way you can't have people taking their 40 acres and say, this is my cemetery. And get a tax-free and all that stuff with it too. So they limit it, more than 1 acre in total size. for family burial and stuff like that too.
Well,
And then if it's off the road, you still have to have easement to get into it, et cetera, but
you might not wanna do that.
there was a lot of information I wasn't aware of, but a lot of good information.
If I'm dead, who cares?
You know, you're no.
Anything else?
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, anything else for Jeff? Questions? No? The poll report, did they send anything over?
Nope.
All righty. On agenda item number 6, public hearing for 2023-02. Public hearing is open at 7:20. Mr. Wolf.
You have one public hearing on the agenda this month, sir. It is for proposed ordinance 2023-02. This is a comprehensive update of Article 6 of the codified ordinances. Village council worked on this kind of piecemeal over the months of like April, May, June, that range. Biting off little chunks at a time. It was formally introduced last month with a public hearing set for tonight. There have been no calls to the office, no comments then prior to the hearing.
Okay. Any questions for Tim about the ordinance?
I have a question. I need some help interpreting. It's the second animal control, second page. That's the third one. Second page, let me find it. I just need a clarification on electronic.
It's roofing.
The L. Where's L?
Here.
Is the animal control. Okay, yep, thank you. Okay, what I need help with is understanding what this means. An electronic device that does not feature a direct physical connection between the person and animal shall not meet the definition of being restrained.
Mhm.
So the person who told me he called me, you told him, he said it was okay? That he walks around with the electronic gadget in his hand and his dog goes where he wants?
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, that's what I was told.
Oh,
So-
no, that individual has been told that it's not okay.
Oh.
And he has tried to, if it's the same individual,
A man and a woman walk their dog regularly by my house. And I did approach them and said, there's a leash law. Oh, no, I've checked. It's okay. I've been told by the office, it's
No.
okay.
not
Okay.
by this office.
All right,
The
so,
individual in our neighborhood that was doing that, and he was confronted about it. He, complained vehemently about it, to the point where he called the company that we deal with for our code enforcement to try and get copies of our files to contest what we were doing.
okay. So I would be at least in an appropriate position to say, gosh.
No, that
that's
is not allowed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I have 4 questions or points of clarification. Tim, on, again, chapter 640. 1A is under vehicles. You got 1A points 1, 3, and 4. There doesn't seem to be a point 2.
You know, I don't have it in front of me, so
I can send you a follow-up email on that.
that would be perfect.
It's just a matter of remembering it.
Okay.
The other thing is, it's been my impression that premises can have 4 dogs, actually, or a combination of cats and dogs. But our verbiage says that no premise shall have a maximum total of 4. And to me, that's reading you can't have 4. You gotta have 3. Again, possibly wordsmith.
No, that's fine.
Going back to the beginning, page 1B allows for fines of not less than $100 a day, up to $500 a day, in addition to costs incurred by the village, which is what ticket we have to take the guy to the court for the civil infraction. My question there is, has it ever been done? And if not, what can we do to make it done?
Elect different judges. It's entirely at the discretion of the judge. We've asked for costs multiple times and we've not been getting it, so. It's as blunt as I can put it.
Well, and that's kind of what I was looking for, blunt, and I guess I'm kind of at a loss, I'm asking you all. We're not gonna get support, why do we even have code enforcement? What can we do to, these judges gotta be accountable to somebody somehow. You know, Tim's putting in all this effort, hiring code enforcement, buying the vehicle. And when he finally gets them to court, they may or may not show up and the judge says, go to lunch. I have a problem with that. And I guess I'm open for suggestions, what to do about it. We gotta give Tim some support somehow. Yeah, I got people in my neighborhood he's been dealing with for over a year.
I really don't know. I really don't. It's,
I don't know what we can do with, with Tim. I think we just have to keep on trying, enforcing it as it's written, because we don't want to take it out. In case we do get new.
No, I'm not looking to take it out. I'm looking to find what can we do to get the county on board with getting the magistrates to help us enforce it.
Well, the magistrates don't have the authority to do that. It's only a judge that has contempt power and the ability to lay those additional fines and costs on. The magistrate can levy the fines from the court. But if you want to go to above and beyond recouping costs, that's a formal hearing or litigation, not a informal before a magistrate.
And what I wanna do is get to the point where people are not just telling you to take the ticket and stop it. I mean,
It does catch up.
you're doing your job well.
As the lady down the street from me found out when she got pulled over with unpaid out of Isabella County and got to spend the night in a lodging facility in Ingham County.
Having to do with a ticket from here? Okay. All right.
Well, again,
I don't know.
I come back to, it's been dealing with some of these cases for over a year.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Got people repairing, running, auto repair businesses out of their house. I've got 2 or 3 of them right in my neighborhood. We've got, regular blight issues, trash. And Tim has done everything he can. I know he's cited it. And our new employees doing the same thing. The number of tickets alone is up. Well, what good is this if we can't put anything behind it? That's my problem. And I guess I'm asking you all to help me solve it. A lot of brain power here. Let's see, what is the solution? I've got that kind of the question.
I don't think it's gonna come out of it.
What can we do to support
The
it?
judges aren't probably gonna change it.
I don't know what else we can do, just enforce it and incur the fines. I don't know.
Without a police department and without making these misdemeanors, this is what you can do.
Right.
That's, that's the raw deal of it. If you wanted to make these misdemeanors, you would need your own police department to enforce it. That also though changes the dynamic of what can be done. Because when it's a civil infraction, it is a preponderance of the evidence that is all we need to, make a case. The more likely that you did it than not. That threshold is a much lower than in a criminal matter when you would need to really prove the unreasonable doubt that something happened. Again, without physical proof, whether it's a photo or reporting, that preponderance of evidence still requires some documentation that it occurred, not just somebody's word that's not an officer of the village.
And photographs
help.
Yeah.
What are other communities similar to ours in the MML doing? Have they, has it come up on the discussions with,
Now, a lot of them have police departments.
They don't.
yeah?
Yeah. All have police departments, most of them.
Is there anything in our contract with the sheriff can do to help that, or? Do we,
It doesn't change the fact that they're still civil infractions.
okay.
That's part of the root cause here is they're civil, they're not criminal.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if I do it or if the sheriff does it, it's still a civil.
And the only way to make it criminal is to make it a misdemeanor with the police force.
Yeah.
Some of those would be kind of hard to go that far on a first or second case, you know? I didn't mow my lawn for the last 2 months, and all of a sudden, boom, I get hit with that.
Yeah.
So when does it
Okay,
change?
you get your first ticket, you're probably gonna go out and cut your
Well,
grass.
probably, yeah, that's different.
We got a guy that's behind me, well, we cut his grass every year.
Well, he's dead now, so we kind of have to.
He
Oh,
hasn't
shoot.
been.
He died this last winter. No, I get that,
He wasn't pretty.
but he wasn't living here either.
Is it growing well because he's buried there?
He must have been at the same seminar Jeff was at.
Oh.
Well, the point is, those are easy ones, but
Yeah.
we can go out.
Yeah.
We may have to charge more or go slower, I don't know, but those are easy ones to fix. But these people, you go so far as to run an auto repair business out of your house. That's not something to want in our neighborhood.
One of those is
It
a,
wouldn't happen over here on Clubhouse.
one of those is a legally existing grandfathered use though. The one on Queensway. He was doing that long before. his
I'm
own
not
ordinance.
talking about. Queens.
Okay, okay, well,
Yeah.
making sure that we're clear.
But I
The
know.
guy
I
on
know what
Queensway
you mean.
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
doing that long before our zoning where said he couldn't. So
And
that's,
he doesn't have a bunch of junk parts and
Correct.
sitting all over either.
No.
Or cars with the rear ends tore out in back of his front yard.
I'm gonna drive by with a big magnet. Well,
I mean,
And the-
you've got to that extent.
and the one you're talking about, he has an open violation from last week that Mark dinged him on when he saw the red vehicle with the 97 up on Jackson in the front yard that has a tow.
That's one of the ones I'm talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
But again, as under existing business number one, the council has adopted procedures on how long people get on a first notice, which is 2 weeks for cases like this, which is what we follow because it's what the council has adopted.
Is that too long?
That's up to your guys' discretion, not mine.
Well, we're still gonna come back to the same thing, rather.
Yeah, they'll ignore it for 2 weeks. Just, they're still back in this, they're not gonna resolve the issue.
Right.
of that. I don't know what else we can do except what we're doing. And make it make it a criminal misdemeanor, but then we have to have a force. But that's something to explore, what our liaison from the sheriff's doing and stuff too. We could explore that.
You know, we have leaned on them for other issues, like this past weekend, I was not around and instead of complaints come in, you guys need to handle this, please, because I'm not gonna be in town on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any others?
Yes, I have one. Page 55 here, number 7, removal of dog, cat waste. Down at the bottom, it says this provision, so shall not apply to blind or have handicapped person. You know, the way I read that, anybody can have a sign in their car, throw it out the window. As long as they got the handicap license plate or the handicap sign in the window, they walk up and down the street as good as you and I do. Should that handicap be eliminated?
Well, it says while walking their guide dog.
While walking, but what I'm saying is, and my point is as long as they have a handicap sticker, there's a lot of people that have handicap license plates and stickers just to get the the closest to the door.
This is a dog ordinance, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it says the guide dog.
Yeah.
And I suppose therapy dog fits under that.
But my problem with this isn't a guide dog or the therapy dog. My problem is letting these people get away with leaving that because they can, if you go and complain about it, they can just say, look, I've got the sticker in my vehicle window.
I don't think, is that what, that's not the designation that determines
But
whether
you-
I'm disabled
Well,
or not.
that's what they could say, is I'm.
Yeah, but they don't have a lead dog. I mean,
I hear what you're saying. though.
the blind,
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I'm just saying, is there, are we leaving a loophole in? That's my question here. You know,
You're saying that if they assumed because they have a handicap license plate that allows them to not pick up dog food.
yeah, well, you know how people push
Right, I see what you're
everything,
saying.
we've seen it right here, they push it right to the limit. You know, so do we need to take the loophole, this loophole out? Or just leave it?
Anything in the definitions about disabled?
So you're asking if it's redundant or not, if it's, we got a seeing eye dog. That's pretty obvious that it's
Well,
somebody that needs,
it says blind right here, I'm not talking about the blind people.
right?
You know, I'm
What's
talking about the,
physically handicapped person,
Yeah.
well walking their guide dog.
while walking, but if they're walking their guide dog. And they go and jump in their car, or don't jump in their car, but if you
Then they're
say,
not
if,
walking.
They're guide
if
dogs?
you say to go pick that up.
No, I don't believe there's a central registry for that, but.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. I'm just, you know,
I know.
I wondered whether we
you're-
need to take a loophole out or not,
Well, if you're blind, you're not getting your car to drive away, it's.
not.
Right.
No, not the blind guy, but everybody else.
Well, one of the problems is that if we change it now, then we gotta do a rehearing.
No,
Is it
that's not a substantive change.
Pardon?
That's.
That's not, okay, I didn't realize that, okay.
I mean, pull into Myers and look at the first 20 rows. Everybody's got a handicap license plate or a handicap sticker in the window, just to park closer.
Yeah.
90% of them get out and walk in just as easy as the rest.
The reason they have so many is because their parking lot's so big, they have to have a certain percentage for the number of parking spots.
Yeah,
I'm just talking the cars,
Right.
Yeah.
not the parking space.
The other piece though to keep in mind is the handicap license plate doesn't necessarily. It can be for a passenger that is in that car regularly. So it's not the driver necessarily, the handicapped person, if there's one car in the family. And the driver is not handicapped, but the passenger is, then you still need that plate, so you can't determine just by, who gets out.
Right.
So,
The handicapped person has to be with the vehicle.
to be parked that way, yes, absolutely. Well, that's what they say.
I don't foresee this being a huge big deal. I mean, we're not talking about 100 people. You know what I mean? I understand.
Yeah,
My whole point was, do we need to close the loophole or just leave it as it is?
What do you guys think? You haven't said anything, Brent?
I'm okay with it. I don't think it's gonna be a major thing. I mean. If I saw that happen like in front of my house, and they're using a loophole, I'd return to sender. But,
I know where you live.
this is for code enforcement. What are the chances that happens and then our code enforcement officer has to see it physically happen? Like you can't just call and
Right.
say, Al's dog pooped in my yard.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of a.
Yeah.
I think that's how it would be, right? Like,
Yep.
there's no
Yeah, good.
violation, like, you have to physically see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they would have to have it on like the ring camera or something, some type of physical evidence they have that was him and not a deer or, some dog at large or, Sasquatch or whatever it is.
Our way, what do you think?
I think we're not gonna get a divorce anyway.
I teed it right up for you, didn't I?
Yes.
There's a big softball right across the middle.
That was perfect pitch.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
Your turn, Carol.
I'm fine with the way it is. If we see down the line that there's lots of people violating this, then we can make a move. Then I know it involves other things, but the probability of that's not real high. In my
No.
opinion.
And I mean, you take the last sentence out, I don't think it's gonna practically impact enforceability either way, because you take it out and if that happens and someone's disabled, I'm gonna tell the person that's complaining about it, they're disabled under the American Disabilities Act.
Right, yeah.
They're properly protected, so we're not gonna deal with it anyway.
Paul?
I agree. I
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
I think it's a good
See what
point.
happens.
Brian.
Good point,
Yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, it's a loophole to me, so if we don't do anything, that's great, but
Okay.
Small little.
it is.
All right, so, anything else on the ordinance? Any other questions? Okay. Public's turn to comment.
Jim Fox, 6613 West Little Turtle Way, Wademan. Just wanted to bring to your attention, I'm trying to work on the qualified voter files. I brought this.
No, I'm sorry, we're talking about the hearing for this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Never mind.
yep. Public comment is coming up.
I thought you meant.
Nah, you're all right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else about the ordinance?
Was there any addition,
Name.
I'm sorry, Bruce Flattabo, 1275 Queensway. Was there any update to the noise ordinance that was in the changes here?
It's chapter 610,
I don't have a copy.
1 through 4. And you can look it up online. You've got
Okay.
your smartphone right there. There's a whole, rights on there, there's an attempt. And there's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
And you're probably point number 4 in chapter 610 is what you're looking for.
Oh,
Yeah. You know, go ahead.
Georgetown, 1283 Queensway.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
since it's a specific question of a topic that's ongoing, wouldn't it be just easier for one of you to read what that says? I mean, we obviously don't have,
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm trying.
well, it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Better answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
65.
Page 65.
Right there, you want it written,
You want
got
it
it,
there?
copy right there.
Computer 65.
Yeah, you can hand it to them so they can see it.
yeah,
But I have to look it up on there. It is.
you bring it back, see, that's my thing.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
I'm trying, let me see.
The red is the canceled part and the blue is the addition part.
The red is the deleting.
Yes, should have a line through it. Well, this is their question on public comment.
That doesn't belong in this pot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah?
It's part of it.
Okay, I didn't think it belonged because it's not part of what we're doing this minute, is it?
Well, this is part of the ordinance.
Yeah.
So we have to answer the question.
I missed that.
That's why I asked him
I know.
on that. I didn't want to. You know, something that I should.
I still didn't get it. I had it just, since it's small.
Well,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Takes a while.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll get it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
so your question was,
It looks good.
That's your answer?
That's it, that's our answer. That's,
any other questions? Okay. Public hearing is closed at that point, or the public comment. Any other comment from the council? No. Any other comments? What's your pleasure, ladies and gentlemen? Lady and gentlemen? Yeah. Public hearing is closed at 7:45 or 46. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Motion made by Davis to accept ordinance 2023-02.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Keel. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Charlie Keel,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brett Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Al Davis,
Yes.
Dave Jorgensen.
Yes. Motion carries. All right. Cool. Mr. Fox?
Well, okay, I'll start over again. Do you want my name and everything again?
We got it.
Okay. I'm working on the, qualified voter files and trying to clean up some of the, the voter registration for the, township. I, brought this forward to the, township meeting yesterday, and Denise is gonna give me a new, a list of what the people that are, they probably moved out and whatnot. It's people that haven't voted. And I'm gonna start going door to door, knocking on the door, seeing if that person still lives there. If they're not, then I'm gonna ask them, the person who's telling me to sign an affidavit. If they refuse, I'll just turn and walk away. And we're just trying to get these, the people that don't qualify to vote off the files and help us run the elections a little bit better. So just wanted to alert you, I brought it in I meant to bring in the list in case somebody wanted to look at it, but I forgot it at home. I let Tim look at it, today, and Denise looked at it yesterday. In fact, she's gonna give me a renewed list because she's worked on it prior to me even mentioning it. So again, I'm gonna go to door. It's gonna take some weeks, of course. Last I looked on my list, there was about 74 people that we need to, or houses would have to contact, see if they're still living there. Tim noticed, I guess, quite a few that weren't there, and so it's just trying to get them off the file. Denise will still have to go through the protocols of getting them off, and, see if they vote next election, et cetera. But I just wanted to let you know, because you'll probably get calls that these people are from the community knocking on doors and asking this stuff, so just wanted to let the committee know.
And that's for Sherman Township,
As well, yeah, well, yeah.
just Sherman, not Broomfield.
No, Broomfield's already been done.
Okay.
What about Texas and Arizona? Would you?
Yeah. That'd be good.
I don't really want to do this, and I'm just trying to help.
A little warm there right now to do that.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, any questions for me on that? I just
Thank
wanted
you
to
for
alert
doing
you just in
Yeah.
case somebody gives you a call. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I have one comment, something I forgot to mention earlier.
Who are you?
Last night, we decided at the board as well that we're gonna do credit card and debit card capabilities now for paying your taxes. It's only gonna be a $3 service charge per transaction. We're gonna hopefully have that and the website both up and running here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So if you wanted to pay your taxes online, you'll have a link on the Sherman Township website that you can go to and pay it for it on there. And like I said, it's only a $3 charge on top of what you're paying.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, Charles Osborne, 1032 Cortez. I want to just know how much are they planning on that thing? I'm trying to understand the taxes on the new, on the voting, whether they, it's like the percentage, how much is it gonna be for? I'm trying to figure out the taxes on that for, you know, in the future.
To assess valuation.
Yeah, for the new, dredging the lake and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff that we're voting on. I just want to know what the taxes are gonna be on that. What's that gonna be? What is it for? You guys got like on here, if I understand this right, it's on, by the mileage, so how much is it gonna be like, how much are they looking at every year for the basis?
Do you have that chart here, Tim? Did you get a pamphlet?
It's 3 mills.
3 mils.
And
I can help you figure it out.
So 3 per thousand.
Okay, great. That's fine. I guess you can give me.
That's gonna
I
help.
can,
Just.
I can tell them, honestly, if you give me 30 seconds, I can tell them almost exactly what it's gonna be. You're on 1 lot or 2, Mr.
Two
Osborne?
lots.
You're on 2. Three mills would increase your annual taxes, Mr. Osborne, $75.90
$75.90.
Yes, sir.
And that's a year?
per year.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously it's tied to the value of your property, so if your assessed value goes up, you know, $100, that's gonna go up, or $1,000 is gonna go up $1, you know,
Okay.
that type of deal, so.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
Any other public comment? Existing business, agenda 8, code enforcement procedure and policy.
I'm just gonna give this to you. I just wanna see if I have any questions.
Well, she's looking, I just wanna say pages are on, it's 9 pages total. That's the only thing I see, and that's a minor thing.
Mine's all just big stuff.
Any other questions for Tim? All right. Okay. Nothing for the review. Okay, agenda item number 9, new business.
Getting up in my dog.
Aw,
Apparently poison control says he's fat enough, he's not gonna die.
well, that's good news. Thank you. I can't cry again.
Exactly, he takes after his father apparently. Yeah, I could eat a whole package of fudge and not die.
You probably got the idea from this.
Yeah, but you do unwrap yours, right?
My wife's gonna have to keep me in a crate when she leaves too. So,
Okay.
you know, I will preface this right now and say that this is not an issue that anyone on this board has brought to my attention and said, we need to fix it, we need to deal with it. There are no gripes, there are no complaints. This is me coming back to you. Last month, the council did its annual adjustment to the staff's compensation plan. So each year we tweak that based on cost of living. You find folks at this table, are the lowest paid municipal servants that I could find.
I love it, but we do good work.
You do very good work.
Okay,
Nobody says they get what they paid for in the election.
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Said.
And we do have multiple members that currently or in the past have donated their salary back to the village. So for those scoring at home, the president, clerk, and treasurer make $25 per regular meeting. Council members make $15 per regular meeting. We don't provide additional compensation for special meetings, committee meetings. None of our boards or committees serve with compensation, and that's fairly normal. Last year, you may recall, we adopted a policy that allows us to give a nominal thank you to them in some form, up to an average of $50 per member. So they all got cooler, not coolers,
Mugs.
Yeah.
Right there, that.
Tumblers,
that-
tumblers.
Tumblers.
tumblers and you know, nice pens. That averaged out to $43 a member. So we were in the clear on that one. That's fine. You know, but looking around, the MML does a wage and salary survey that's voluntary participation. So we participate in it. But you can get data then from all the municipalities participate. So you have in your packet the compensation for city village council members, and a separate one for village president or mayor. Throwing out from each of these, Mount Pleasant and Lake Isabella, which are the high and the low, you would get an average compensation for a council member of $52 a meeting, and for the president of $73 a meeting. Also in there, there's been a couple of other resolutions done throughout the years regarding travel, conferences, training, those type of things. And I think if you were going to go down this road, it would make a lot of sense to merge all that into one kind of policy document. And the most important part of this, the village charter, section 5.5 says any change in the compensation to members of the council shall not take effect for the expiration of all current terms on the council. That means any change made to compensation would take effect January of 2027. And I bring this to your attention now, because not that I have a crystal ball, but I believe this is the most probable time in my 20 years here where the 7 members that sit here tonight will not be majority of the council in 2027. That's just the way the world works. So with that, and as you think of things that we might be able to do to entice people to serve, beyond just being good-hearted community members, keeping in mind that we have another organization that requires the same amount of people to populate a functioning board that we compete for talent against, essentially.
And I think they pay the same.
They pay the same right now. You know, it would definitely be my recommendation to look at bumping this, knowing that it doesn't take effect for basically 4 years.
But you're also saying that basically nobody here, if they vote for it or against it, it's gonna affect them at all.
Unless you run again and get reelected and serve, like, you know, the next election we have is Al, Carol, and you? I think it's Bob. You know, so you're up in 24, so those terms go from 25 to 29. So.
We'd make a lot of money those last 2 years.
Last 2 years, yeah. You know, Bob and I both serve on the County Board of Public Works. We each get paid $30 per meeting to go to those meetings.
We ever have a damn
If
meeting.
we ever have a meeting.
Otherwise, you don't make any money at all.
20 plus years ago, when I was a council member in Breckenridge, we increased our meeting per diem from 30 to 60, I want to say, and that was 20 some years ago.
I would support $100 for the president and $75 for all the council members. Because you're talking 4 years from now.
Yeah.
Right. 25 isn't gonna be worth what it's worth.
Even 50, even the average isn't gonna be the average anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah, these will all increase as well.
You could table this for 2 years too, right?
Yeah, if you want to take effect in 27, you need to do it before.
I mean, if we're asking, my thing is, if we're asking
100%.
voters for 3 mills,
Yeah.
every little bit helps, right?
Yeah.
If everybody's spending more money, you know, nobody here is doing this for the money anyway,
No.
so
No.
I don't think changing it from $25 a meeting to or $50 a meeting is not gonna change your life, so.
I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, Tim can correct me, I don't think he's looking at it from the standpoint of us.
No.
Right.
He's
No, he's
looking
not.
at how can we get it and still be fair to the public? Cause we're, normally, you know, each year, you're voting it, if you voted in, you're voting it in for your own pay. This way is the best opportunity to do it where you're not affecting the people that are voting on your helping the village be able to obtain the talent they need. Okay,
And I look at it.
I understand your point too.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't have to happen today is what he's saying.
yes, I understand that, but
You know,
again, I think we need to do it at this point in time if we're ever gonna do
Before a millage vote?
it. I mean, if you're saying we wait and then 2 weeks afterwards we do it,
No, we've got 2 years.
Yeah,
Twenty
you
twenty,
gotta do it before 2025. You want to take effect 27.
yes. So
Okay.
we can do all
Yeah.
of 2024 and do
You
it
can
at
ask
a
me to
meeting
do more
there.
research.
okay, okay. I
That's
have
all
no
he-
problem
that's
either
what
way
Brett was
because
saying,
I'm
is
not
that-
gonna be affected, so I could care less.
Yeah, none of
know,
us will be affected.
I look at it too from the
I don't take it
standpoint,
anyway.
Yeah.
it
I
is
don't take it anyway.
increasingly difficult to get my generation and younger involved in an organization where they're expected to give up one night every month, if not more. They're fine with doing the one-off, we'll do a weekend, we'll do this, but that regular committed thing is a big stretch. They're fine doing maybe a season of coaching soccer or something like that, but it's a much tougher sell to someone to say, every Tuesday, the third Tuesday of every month, you're expected to be here at 7 o'clock. And the weekend before, you're gonna get 150 pages of material to read and digest.
It'd be prepared, yeah.
And then you're gonna deal with people in the audience who come and say, you guys are, you know, idiots, you're full of crap, you know, how dare you do this? Why'd you do this? You know?
Yeah.
Public service is not a attractive thing to a lot of people anymore. So if it makes the headache more palatable,
I guess
Well, that's a-
I would go for.
It's a
let's
good
put it
opening
off-
discussion.
Let's
Yeah.
open,
Yeah.
look at it in a
Think
year
about
from
it.
now. And, you know, it doesn't have to be an official thing, but in about a year, just remind us again. and we'll look at it.
Yeah, then we can make it official.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Brett, you had a good point there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. August meeting.
So as you know, because I've said it for, I think, 3 months in a row, I will not be here on August 15th. I will be in Roger City camping. Right now,
In the rain.
in the rain,
Sorry.
like I said, following from the UP this last week. Right now, I have nothing for the agenda next month. Really? Absolutely nothing. Everything's right now
Vote is the eighth.
bottlenecked around August 8th, the election.
Yeah.
And so the
When does the Lacoma meet?
The annual meeting?
They're not going to have an August regular meeting. They're
No,
gonna
because
have
a
an
regular annual meeting, I think, is in August. They usually double it up, don't they?
I mean,
That's the
do
second
they
Saturday.
do a regular meeting, then a,
They usually do it at the meeting, as
Got
I
it,
understand it.
Yeah. It's the 19th of August is the third Saturday.
So that would be the 12th.
No,
August 12th is the second Saturday,
I lied. I said third. I mean, I said second, then I changed it
Oh,
to
19th.
3.
so.
Yeah.
The Lake Committee has, their next meeting is the 9th.
Yeah.
The Lake Restoration Committee, they're meeting officially on the 9th. Obviously, some are gonna be here the next week or two for the meetings, but, you know, that's the next meeting on that schedule is the 9th. And I will.
the 21st is a Tuesday, right?
21st is a Monday, 22nd is a Tuesday.
August 22nd.
And school starts.
I also won't be here that week.
On the regular date,
On the 15th?
Yeah, camping next to Tim.
where at? Where you going?
Wolverine.
You'd be close, be in Roger City.
Yeah.
Meet the lighthouse for beer and bowling.
So,
We could move it to the third, isn't the fourth or
The 22nd,
22nd is a what?
this is Tuesday.
it's a Tuesday.
We can do it that day.
But what if he has nothing to do?
Well, we will have something to do after the election,
Oh.
one way or the other, but we don't have anything
As
except
currently, okay, I got you,
Yeah.
I got you, okay.
because we're gonna make some decisions, some of us.
Yes, okay. Yep.
We
I
have,
understand
we
what
can't
you're
just say no meeting.
saying. Right, right.
So are we saying we would like to change the date?
Yes,
Okay. And is that what you're suggesting?
We're gonna need
I don't,
as
I
many,
have no suggestion because I'm on vacation the entire week before, so whatever material you're gonna get for that meeting,
Is
you're
slim
gonna
any-
get on August 9th.
Yeah,
Cause I'm not gonna be here the following week,
right.
Fair,
Right.
good, so you can't plan a lot.
unless I'm giving you something on Monday beforehand, 21st.
Okay.
Well. 22nd, I think, right? Yeah.
You okay,
Can that work for you?
Bob?
I have nothing going on 22nd.
Robert, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Are you still mad at us?
And it's a rescheduled meeting, so you will get paid. It's not a special meeting.
Oh. Thank you so much. I was going to worry.
All right, August 22nd.
I mean, we have lost talent to Sherman Township. They pay like 150 a meeting.
Oh, good Lord, seriously?
Yeah.
Are you gonna leave? Maybe we could work.
$150.
Oh, I don't live in that.
Plus, if you go
Sorry.
to the conferences, you can pay for that too.
Wow.
Mhm.
I didn't know
You
you
live
jump
in-
ship on us. I know.
you live in Sherman?
Yeah.
I'm in Broomfield.
Yeah, Lions End Street,
Oh, it is?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Huh, didn't know that.
All
Just knew
right,
I wasn't counted.
further public comments.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, seeing none, any council comments? Any announcement?
The August 8th community meetings right now, 9 AM tomorrow, 4 PM tomorrow, 9 AM on Thursday the 26th, 7 PM on the 26th, and possibly a virtual sometime that evening. I've had a lot of positive feedback. That sounds like a decent idea, and I think it's pretty easy to. If anybody wants to know, the people here today was an MDOT meeting during the day.
All right.
Was there anything you excitingly missed out on?
I would be supportive, when we circle the wagons on the, also compensation. I was looking at the other thing, like reimbursements and stuff. Some of those are pretty outdated. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if people
Yeah.
go to meetings and like to better our community, I mean, we could at least pay.
Yeah.
34 cents a mile. I think it's probably.
Yeah, that needs to be
I think it's
changed.
probably double that. It's
I would just change it to
like-
IRS rate.
Right.
That's the
Whatever
easiest.
it is, that's what we pay.
Yeah, and I would,
Like updating that kind of stuff makes a lot of sense, but.
and I can get that done first and get that to you earlier as opposed to waiting a year for that, because I do agree.
We
with you,
should
that's
think
something
about it, we
that-
should think about a whole bunch of.
Your mileage, the mileage one, we've always paid IRS mileage,
Right.
actually, regardless of that, so.
Okay,
Who's coming to the meeting tomorrow? Who
I'll
are-
be here in the morning.
It will not be books out tomorrow.
Who else is-
I'll come after.
Your Brett's afternoon.
I'm gonna go send the results of the doodle poll out right now to everybody.
Okay, so how many do you need for the meetings tomorrow?
One,
9
a
a.m.
couple,
Afternoon,
10 a.m. by 4 p.m.
we had a nice couple show up today, thought the meeting was today.
Oh, okay, so they'll be back tomorrow, no,
They'll be back next Thursday.
oh, next Thursday, okay.
Darn
I
it,
remembered there was a reason she couldn't come to the one.
Shoot, okay.
All right. Anything for the good of the order?
Who's coming? Don't name people that aren't gonna show up.
I'll come to one, it's the only point.
All right. fair enough.
You and I and Brent.
We got kicked off.
All right, we stand.